Hello YouTube. This video is about a theory I've had for quite some time, but really came into shape over the course of Gamergate and after watching Internet Aristocrats' Tumblrisms videos. So to me, the most unusual thing I have seen come out of the consumer revolt or online movement known as Gamergate is the phenomenon of social justice warriors. These are people who claim to strongly believe in the ideals of diversity, inclusivity, and equality, whilst simultaneously acting in a way contrary to logic, free thought, and rationality. I've come across many people who are completely baffled about how such people could even exist, and to be honest, I don't have a fully compelling answer. These people are so unlike me in their way of thinking that I have a difficult time understanding them and empathizing with them. What I can do is look at these people in a larger context, which I interpret as a move towards greater and greater extremism in Western culture in the last decade or two. There are likely many causes for this apparent shift, but I lay the blame mainly on one source: the internet. I believe that the internet has fundamentally changed our society, in some ways for the better, but in some ways for the worse. Before the internet, most of us got the majority of our information from the same few sources. People in the same city or town all watched the same television programs, read the same newspapers, and listened to the same radio stations. We had choice, of course, but that choice was extremely limited compared to the cornucopia of the internet. If, in the pre-internet days, you had an opinion or belief that fell far outside the norm, you usually found very little support for it. You had a choice: express it and be potentially ostracized, or try to change and adapt in order to fit in. Either way, you had very few options when it comes to communicating with like-minded people. This is the idea of the melting pot, where everyone in a given society all believed the same basic things and knew the same basic facts. Now, with the internet, for the first time ever, it is possible, no, it is actually easy, to receive only information that reinforces your current beliefs and opinions, no matter how extreme or different from the norm they might be. Most of us, when seeking out information online, automatically create our own sort of little echo chambers. It's challenging and uncomfortable to consume information and media that you fundamentally disagree with. How many of you with left-wing views, for example, go to right-wing news sources? How many of you subscribe to YouTube channels you often disagree with? Now, think back to social justice warriors. How old are most of them? In my experience, they are generally quite young, and most of them have had internet access from a very young age. Anyone born after, say, 1990 represents the first generation of human beings to have access to a customizable database of the sum of human knowledge and opinion from childhood onwards. These people grew up being exposed at will to content they may not have been mature enough to process or properly understand. Think about the kind of content available on YouTube alone and how much that could warp the mind of an 8-year-old. Kids born now don't have to get their information from the same place as people around them. Heck, they don't even have to interact with people around them if they don't want to. They can easily find a community of people online who think and feel just like they do. Within that community, they can all feel accepted and loved. As they spend more and more time in this echo chamber, their views, whatever those views might be, become stronger and more entrenched. Now, rather than a melting pot, we've got something more akin to social city-states, all completely separate from one another. You've got a social justice warrior city-state, you've got a far right-wing social city-state, you've got an atheist city-state, and so on. This explains a lot about social justice warriors, like, for example, how they can have such disdain for reason and logic. Before the internet, anyone who felt that logic was useless would find themselves in the minority on that point almost anywhere they went. Now, with a few clicks, you can be completely immersed in a community that thinks logic is some fictional concept from Star Trek. This doesn't just apply to social justice warriors, though. More and more of us are becoming extreme in our viewpoints. Us versus them mentalities, black and white thinking, they're becoming more and more common among certain groups. Among young people who have grown up with internet echo chambers, there seems to be shock when others don't take everything they say as gospel truth. Political and social viewpoints are becoming completely devoid of nuance and subtlety. Compromise has become a dirty word. So, what can we do about this? On a societal level, I'm not sure there's anything we can do, but on a personal level, there's plenty. Make an effort to keep yourself from falling into online echo chambers. Consume content that makes you uncomfortable, that has different biases, and actually give that new information a chance. Try to see things from other people's perspectives, especially when you disagree with them. Interact with a variety of people in the real world, don't just stay online all the time. And if you have kids, monitor their internet usage. Make sure they're exposed to a wide range of viewpoints and ways of thinking. So that's all I have to say on this topic for now. I encourage you to leave a comment below, like the video, or subscribe to the channel, and I wish you all the best.